Good morning, everyone. For those that noticed that my last video posted at midnight or thereabout, that's actually the default posting. If I don't remember to change it to 6 a.m., it really doesn't matter. I may leave it at that midnight posting time just because that's when I'm allowed to post it for the next day. I might get a few more views over from midnight till 6 in the morning. I'm fighting YouTube to get views. I'm still well below my average for many years. And I did not make my quota for the month, so I'm not going to get paid this coming month. If you don't make $100, you don't get paid because they've restricted my views. I don't like the ads. I wish I could get rid of them. I originally didn't have ads. YouTube put ads on that they were collecting money on without my approval, without my participation. So when they did that, I couldn't stop it. I had to go through and qualify to have my own control over it so I could split the money with them. So I don't like the ads. I wish I could turn them off. I need a little bit of money, but I don't need enough to put that many ads in. The longer the video, the more ads. If I keep them between 20 and 25 minutes, there aren't as many ads as if I go over 30 minutes. It's just their algorithm. So it's one of the reasons I like to keep it short. Okay, I was going to do a two-parter, and I never got it filmed when I did the first part because the rain started, and this tin roof on here is noisy. If you've listened to me driving the car, you know what background noise is. Well, rain is just as bad. So I didn't get it recorded. I'm going to go ahead and record it tomorrow. It's been raining off and on. It just stopped. At the end, I'm going to put down a video of how full the lake is, so take a look at that. In any case, I'm just going to do a update, read the headlines update. I do have one verse that I want to read, because I was talking to my son and we were talking about, you watch the left now and they come on there and they're defending their plans, even though we now know what they are. We know they're absurd. Save the gay whales or whatever the cause is that they're putting billions of dollars in. It doesn't matter. Sending money overseas. People are taking our taxpayer money and just distributing it around the world to all of their friends. They've been caught. Now they're defending it. And they sound foolish when they're defending it. And we were talking about how can they possibly get away with this, talking like this? Well, 2 Thessalonians 2, I got to put my glasses on. We're going to start with 2:10, but 2:11 is where we're going to get. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness, I'm in the King James, in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, they that might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them a strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. That's where we're at. They refused the truth. They were fighting for the wrong side. They were fighting for evil. So God has sent them a lie, to believe the lie. And that's why they continue to argue over this stuff. They're on all the time. Anybody who wants to speak out against the Big T, anybody who wants to tell a sad story about how the Big T has destroyed their lives, of course he hasn't, but that's what they want to say. Anytime anybody wants to say that, they're going to come up and put them on air. There was a lady who complained, I guess the second the tariffs went in place, it's for some countries, and maybe a couple of days ago for the remainder. This was the end of last week, so before the tariffs even hit the market, she was complaining that she was paying double for groceries than a month ago or 2 months ago or whatever it was. It's obviously a combination of a lie and just plain foolishly deceived, that thinking that the prices didn't go up because of the tariffs. They went up for greed. But she was saying it's because of the tariffs, blaming Trump for it. Let's see, what else we got? We're going to look at the headlines on YouTube. Netanyahu was in town today. I don't know when he's going back, but he met with the president, and they had a joint press conference this afternoon. They don't tell you the background negotiations going on. I can tell you what my guess is. My guess is Netanyahu came here and said, one of us is going to have to attack Iran. They need to be put down because they're still developing nuclear energy power so that they can have a nuclear weapon. They're enriching uranium. Stock uranium doesn't have enough compactness. They got to keep enriching it so they get stronger and stronger. Then they can make a bomb. They've been doing this long enough. They really, frankly, ought to have enough to make bombs, and they may even have a bomb or two. But one or two is not going to, it'll hurt big time if they drop it on a populated area. But it'd be the end of Iran and all the people of Iran. Everybody would retaliate. Israel would retaliate. We'd retaliate with nukes. Once you break this cycle of no nukes that they haven't had for years, since World War II, all bets are off, and there will be plenty of nukes out there. I have Kitty next to me, who's going to be a pest here, so I'm going to show him real quick, and then I'm going to put him down. Go play on the freeway. That's it. Lie right down. He's had a tough day. This is the end of the day. I was spending the day with my son. I was going to try to record it then, but we've had such bad weather that I haven't been able to do that. The rain, it was still raining when I came home in the car. I thought about recording it in the car, but it was still hitting the roof of the car, making too much noise. Okay, so let's take a look at some more YouTube headlines. The EU is offering 0-for-0 tariffs with the U.S. as countries line up to begin negotiation. All the fear-mongering that the left has been putting out, Trump's going to win. He was on Oprah in '88, I guess, as a guest. Of course, he had no political aspirations at that time, at least none that he was willing to share. And he said, we need to go back to tariffs. This country was in better shape when we had tariffs that were equal to what the world has out there, so that people were wanting to deal with us. Right now, you couldn't get a Ford in Japan or China. They're not allowed. Trump was saying something along the line of, it's not just the tariffs, but it's the requirements that you have to meet. If you drop a bowling ball from 20 feet and it dents the roof, it's not qualified. Now, Japanese cars wouldn't pass that test, but they put that on American cars to keep them out. So they got to not only remove and get a parity on tariffs and just basically not have any, but they also got to remove some of the regulations that are designed to block our sales in their country. If they make a better product, they're buying them. If their product is cheaper, they're buying them. But don't force it. Okay, so Trump, China just bumped their tariff up. They were up already too high, and Trump brought them up to meet them. They bumped them up again. Trump said he's going to put an additional 50% tariff on China if they don't knock it off. He can put 100%. We don't need them. They desperately need us. They need as much revenue as they can because they haven't got enough money coming in to pay for all the stuff they want to do. And their population has a large mouth to feed. Very demanding. The Supreme Court had come out and said they wanted this one guy returned. They've paused it. Why have they paused it? Because it was probably mistaken that they jumped on that. Somebody probably came to him and said, somebody that shouldn't be deported was deported. Well, return him. Oh, he didn't need to be coming back. He was an illegal alien and he murdered 10 people or whatever. I don't know what the story is. The left is going to lie. They've got some kind of a... Okay, Kitty. Kitty doesn't want to be up here because he knows he's not supposed to tear at the curtains, and he does it on purpose to distract me. So you stay away. You can't come up here anymore until I'm done recording. Let's see what else we got. SpaceX has got some big plans for the Flight 9 coming up. We don't know more details than that right now. We just kind of got to watch. It's kind of a background issue. Starlink has the ability now to, if you have T-Mobile, use your phone via satellite. Now, it's in very, very limited use. They're testing it. But if that works, right now it's text. When they get enough complements of high-speed, newer satellites up there, you'll be able to do video through Starlink. You won't need a cell tower. You can use it anywhere in the world that there's a satellite, and they're putting them all around the world. So you'll be able to use a phone. I think Apple has signed up for this as well. But Droids for sure, that use anybody who uses T-Mobile. Now, you may have to go someplace else to buy an Apple phone until somebody starts making them here. All iPhones right now are made in China. All iPhones and most phones are made in China. There's only 3 manufacturers in the world, and they're in China because we gave them the technology here. We were the leader in manufacturing. I don't remember how many you said, like 12,000, 14,000 manufacturing plants were shut down in the United States because we shipped everything overseas because the labor was dirt cheap. That's what the unions in this country did to us. I hope they demolish the unions. They were absolutely needed when they were created. They have no known use now, so they're becoming a political tool, and that we don't need. I wish they could go back to being just a simple fellowship where you know that if there isn't a union electrician, you get somebody that's capable of doing a good job, but not at 20,000 times the pay, because the union keeps asking for increases, which most of it doesn't go to the union worker. It goes to the higher tiers in management. And it's a pyramid scheme. That's why the Democrats keep bailing them out. Obama's shovel-ready money that he needed didn't go to the shovel-ready jobs. It went to bail the unions out because they're a pyramid scheme, and they are not getting new members fast enough to keep up with the benefits that are going out to the existing plans. They have been ripping us off too, just like the world has. The unions have. And the union members. Now, you're making good money. It's about time you got paid better to what you're capable of doing, not the exorbitant amounts you've been getting. Yeah, you've been living high on the hog. It's time you join the rest of us that have to work for a living harder than what you do. All right. The Chosen Season 5 is running now. I don't know if you've seen it. There are liberties with the Bible because the Bible doesn't fill in all the blanks. It says something happened. Well, if you're going to put it up on a video, you got to deal with all the extraneous stuff going on. So there are liberties in it, but a panel of religious leaders are deciding. What I've seen of it, it looks good. But always watch everything that has to do about Jesus with 2 eyes, one looking at the content, one looking at the Bible, and compare. Make sure you're getting a good story. Even our older Bible movies, whether it's Charlton Heston as Moses or any of these, they had to take liberties. But they were enjoyable to watch, so watch with your mind and eyes open. I put a couple of funnies up on my channel, and I get them showing up here on my YouTube page. It's tough enough out there. We got to find ways to find humor, and good Christian humor I like. If you get any, post them and share them, and I'll make sure everybody sees them. Let's see. Jonathan Kahn has some new videos out talking about end-time prophecy and Snow White. Yeah, They're definitely blinded to what the truth is and what's going on. We've got more humanoid robots. See, mankind's trying to recreate man again. Satan's trying to recreate man and his intelligence by AI. You can't do it, people. You can maybe come that close, but in most cases it's going to be, wider than I can hold my arms apart. You may get them so they look human, but they're certainly not human. Satan tried that with the Nephilim, and God didn't like it. Be careful. And frankly, AI is nothing more than a super sophisticated, smart computer program. You're not going to give it a soul. It's not going to be able to fully think the way our brain does. Our brain has a neural net. Computers don't right now. And even if they did, it wouldn't equal what God created. Kitty, you just behave right there. Let's see. Oh, I was going to talk about the meeting today. My guess is the United States is not going to attack Iran. We're attacking the Houthis because they attacked our ships in the Gulf over there. But Iran hasn't attacked us. And Iran said that they would stop supporting the Houthis. And Trump said if you keep helping the Houthis, okay, here we go again. He just keeps coming back and doesn't quit. Cats are persistent. So my guess is when Netanyahu's over here, he says, will you fully back us and support us if we decide to attack? And my guess is yes. What do you need? You need more of something? We'll ship it to you. They've been putting a lot of stuff over there. We've got a heavy military force over there. So I don't think that we're going to attack. I think Israel will. When they're going to do it, I don't know. Soon, my guess. Let's see. Talking about our economy and treasuries, they're all predicting, the left is all predicting doom. How much you want to bet they don't put out a retraction when they're not right? I can guarantee you they won't. Let's see. Well, that's pretty much the breaking news of the day. What's his name? Jay North just died. Dennis the Menace in the TV series, where he's always getting into trouble, causing problems, just like the cartoon. So he just died. I guess that's all that I really want to talk about on that. The storm that we just had is going to cause, I think there's already a number of deaths from it, from flooding. I think that's going to be the biggest issue. We didn't have any high winds, so that's not going to be a problem. I put a couple of things down. I had there's a door on the front, in front of the window. I closed it because I was worried about winds. We had heavy winds 2 days before the storm, but when the storm gets here, they died down because the storm didn't have any. It was just moving in fast. When the storm got here, there was no winds. So I've opened it back up again. My curtains are all closed. I haven't opened these up yet. It's too much light comes from that one. I have to close it when I record. I brought my professional camera in. If I can, I might try to get my son to come up here and help me record some of these outside with that camera. He needs to learn how to use an editor. I've got an editor on my workstation, and I can start teaching him on that. So pray for me on that we can work on that. He can use it with his streaming service to edit videos and then post them up on YouTube. Okay, well that's pretty much all I've got. I'll get back to the Are You Scared video series, the next one. There's only 2. I started with the first of 16 Bible verses about Don't be afraid in the Bible. God's in charge. He knows what he's doing. So I'll do that one for tomorrow. Because I was with him all day, and again, it rained hard. It's just now calm, but look at the end. Watch the video at the end, and you see how much extra water is in the lake. It looks good. They could actually put a big boat in there. But until they fixed the dam, they did a fix, and it apparently didn't hold because they haven't let the water come back up. Oh well, it's a government job. What do you expect? Okay. Be kind to one another. Help one another. These are the end times. I don't know when things are going to happen. But since I don't know, you just still have to be ready. The rapture could be now. It could be next week, next month. I can't see it being 10 years away. I really can't see it being past this year, according to all of our calculations. If we're off on this year, then it's not going to match on what everybody believes the 6,000 year time frame that God would do everything in. God owes the Jews the 70th week. But it's going to be bad. So I can understand why he would delay it. But Satan's chomping at the bit. He wants to get out here and do his thing. And God's given him permission to do that. The wake-up call. Time to choose, people. If you're of the world, which one do you want? This is your last chance to choose God. Once the tribulation starts, you've got roughly 7 years. And if you don't make up your mind in those 7 years, with all the stuff that's going to happen, then you're going to spend eternity in the wrong place. I don't know how God's going to judge people at that point. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that there's a limited time. Now, we're in the way. We have to get out of the way. So we have a rapture. We're the next event in the timeline. Christian church will be raptured, and then the world will have no one to stop them. The new Christians won't be mature enough, won't be secure enough to know how to fight back. They will be simply trying to survive, kind of like the first century. They were baby Christians in the first century, and we can see from the letters that Paul wrote. He even called the Ephesians and the Galatians baby Christians. Galatians, he said, I have to feed you with milk because you can't handle the meat of the Scripture. Now that's going to be the people that are born during the tribulation, because that's only a 7-year period. And most of the people then, according to what the Bible says, will have to be martyred to get out. The Jews are the exception, because there has to be a remnant left to go into the millennium. What's a remnant? Is that one person, 20 people, 100 people, 1,000,000 people? I don't know. I would guess to be maybe a couple of million people to go into the final 1,000 years of Christ's rule with us. Mankind will still mess it up at the end. It just will take 1,000 years. Whereas right now, with Satan's help, we can mess it up in 100 years or less. It doesn't take that long because he's good at it. But you take him out of the picture, it's going to take us longer. A few generations away from the seed families, and they start falling away. God's going to give everybody enough chances. Nobody will complain at the end, I didn't have a chance. Okay, till we meet in the clouds. God bless. Well, after a day and a half of rain, it's way up. Now, I'm up quite a bit, so it's not going to get up to the trailer. But look how far in it is. Those trees out there, the group of 6 there and the other 2 or 3 out there, they were on dry land a couple of days ago. So it's way up. Now this isn't the way it should normally be. It's too high. But you can see how close I am now to the water. And there are fish in there to catch, so wouldn't have to go far. Now the last time it flooded, my antenna was underwater, the base. Now it can go ahead and come in that far again. I don't care. The cable is insulated, but that's a lot of water. That's all we had was rain, no wind, so it's not a big problem. Blessings, everyone.